The best of holidays is where you can nurture yourself with the beautiful energy of the people who are around you. Because of that, you become a better version of yourself.
Hello, my name is Renee Leith-Manos. Welcome to this podcast, Where to From Here, featuring conversations about luxury travel and how it's changing in every pocket of the globe. So today I'm talking to Katya Herting, who's the General Manager at Raffles Bali. Now, anyone who watches my content knows I'm a huge fan of Bali, a big fan of Indonesia, and a massive fan of Raffles. I reviewed Raffles Singapore when it had its incredible revamp and renovation, and I absolutely loved it. It's one of the best hotels in Southeast Asia. But Raffles Bali is a completely different offering. It's not far from the airport, but it's in a beautiful, elegant, isolated location. And I'm sure Katya's going to tell us a whole lot more. Welcome to the show, Katya.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Renee. And I'm very happy to be able to share with the audience, with your followers, what Raffles Valley is all about. And as you well said, I also fell in love with the brands when I was in Singapore, and I had the opportunity to see Raffles Singapore, the Grand Dam, being revived after the renovation that we did in 17, 18, 19. I was one of the first guests to stay back in a trial stay mode at the property.
Wow.
And it takes your breath and a part of your heart away when you become a guest at the Raffles, right? We have a famous sentence in which we say that when you come to Raffles, you come as a guest, you live as a friend, but you return always as family. And that has happened to me many, many times, pre and post renovation at the Raffles. So when I was offered the great opportunity to open the Raffles number 15 in the world, in Bali, in Indonesia, in a 32 only villa resort with 23 hectares of land, I packed my luggage and I was here 2 months thereafter.
Wow.
So it's,
the data is showing that the luxury hotel traveller is looking for what you're offering, which is the boutique luxury hotels. The days of them gravitating to the massive hundreds and hundreds, hotels are gone. So to talk us through Raffles Bali and who's coming there and what's happening there at the moment.
Well, as you will know, since Bali reopened its international borders, all lovers from around the world have come back to Bali to rediscover it. And they have found us to be one of the most enticing hotels in the island because we provide curated experiences that connect the destination with architecture, with traditions, with heritage, and the kind soul of the Balinese people who cannot be described in words. You have to come and live it yourself. I think that's the take. Yeah.
I totally agree. And who is your hotel really for? Is it really for couples? Is it for families? Well, what would you say?
I would say it's a mix of both. We have 3 villas who are very enticing for families. We have a total of 32 villas. The rest of villas are very well appointed for couples. We call ourselves a honeymoon resort, a romantic well-being oasis. But definitely families come along and they have a lot of fun. We have a curated team of entertainers. We call it kids entertainers who can craft experiences for the little ones depending on the age and how far mom and dad allow them to be taken for a while so they can also have time as a couple and then rejoin through also several experiences as family as well. So everybody's welcome. Yeah.
And what elements of, say, Raffles Singapore, because I think that's the brand that everybody knows and loves, what elements are reflected in Raffles Bali, would you say?
I would say definitely is the graciousness and the service per se that was created in its DNA at the Raffles in Singapore, right?
Mm-hmm.
Every property of Raffles is very unique. You have buildings who are in the mid of metropolis like Dubai, who are very, very much modern, or Jakarta itself in the big city, 10 million people. You have more urban proposition. Meanwhile, we are about to open our new property in London, which brings us back and closer to our Raffles Singapore, being a historical building. The OWO is also a reminiscence of history, connecting with London with a very deep meaning. And for us in Raffles, we are the third.
Where's the property in London? Where is it? Do you know?
The property in London is located in the Old War Office, where Churchill used
Yeah, where
to
is it
rule.
though? That's in it's not Mayfair, is it? It's
No. It's close to the river, across from Buckingham Palace, in Bryant's Park,
beautiful.
very close to the eye. So that's that. But then when it comes to Raffles Valley, we are the third resort, right? Raffles Valley is the third resort among all properties, and it evokes the architecture and design of Old Valley with modern vision of our Japanese owner, right? So I call it Japanese interpretation of traditional Balinese architecture, and
Right.
it creates a very same feeling amongst nature. That's what the property does, and it does quite well for mindfulness, no, for a disconnection for a while of the busy agendas we have and our guests do have when they are back at home.
Wow. And tell us about your spa, the 5 senses of wellness. You recently were named number 4 in the Asia Pacific region. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. We were so pleased to see ourselves ranking top
It's
when it
amazing.
comes to Raffles well-being experiences, and Five Senses of Wellness was created opportunity for guests to come over and find peace of mind. We take care of your diet, we take care of your mindfulness, we take care with treatments about the way you feel, and that all encompassed by the gracious service of the Balinese Raffles Wellbeing butters we do have all around you, plus our therapists. And Indonesia is very well known in Bali for a good array of knowledgeable therapists. So it has put us forward in that line of service, right? We have had the very little incentive groups and individual travelers. So the program serves well for couples or individuals or groups traveling together with an endeavor to nurture soul, right? Yeah.
Wow, how beautiful. So if I came there, say, with a partner and I wanted to do the wellness program, could I do that on my own and my partner doesn't have to do it? How does it work? Because I know that is a question I get asked a lot from my readers.
You know, the beauty of having a hotel with 32 villas only, and I pretty much, yes, we call it a resort, but I call it my house. So I get to know pretty much what every individual guest who stays with us is looking for, right?
Yeah.
And we cater for that. There is no limitations because it's a very personalized experience, right? We want to connect
Yes.
to you as much as you want to connect to us. You want to know more about us as we want to give you the best feeling ever. So you can bond in your lifestyle, maybe a little piece of Raffles Valley back home, right? That's
Yes.
the ultimate gift that we can give you in this niche hospitality, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. And talk us through, I mean, what is happening in food and beverage? You've just touched on it with the wellness, that you can have a specific nutrition program. What are the trends?
Yeah.
And I'm seeing everywhere that I'm staying, and the general managers I'm talking to, food and beverage is bigger than ever. You know, it's a big magnet. And the other big trend that I've seen is that people no longer want to go away and come back gaining weight. They want to eat well, they want to have a great time, but they don't want to come home and then have to lose weight. Is that what you're seeing?
Yeah. You know, Chef Guy Tang is our culinary director on property, right? And he's a fanatic of well eating and well drinking, but also of nutrition for pleasure, right? And when we talk about that, it's not about restricting pleasure, but definitely eating wise, right? So, for example, we use more and more stevia in our dishes instead of refined sugar, right?
Right.
We try to limit the intake of processed food and rather go for the beautiful fruits and vegetables that grow naturally in Bali, right? That are organically grown, right? Rather than preservatives and freeze ingredients,
Do you have
right?
a garden on site? Do you have an organic garden on site?
We do have a garden that provides us with fruits, vegetables, and a good array of herbs. But we also connect with wonderful farmers around the islands, which we created relationships from the very beginning of when we were building the property to try to find out or to connect with our passions in common, right? Their passion for following nature's patterns and seasonality and remain truthful to the heritage of harvesting and seasonality, and for us to, with the little amount of gas and units we need per day, we can adjust very well to it. So that helps us as well, providing dishes that are nutritious, pleasurable, and
Yeah.
do not encompass the fact that you have to go home and put yourself on diet, right?
Yeah, no one wants to do that anymore. And what is a well-being butler? Is that to do with food and beverage? Or what? I read about that when I was reading about the hotel.
So very soon we discovered that Bali offers you different mantras, I would say, in terms of treating yourself well, right? And we discovered that yes, nutrition is one of that facts that brings pleasure to your life, but can make you feel well. Also, the mindfulness treatments and array of traditions and practitioners who are here in the island help us balance energies and help us become more harmonious among our own persona, right? So, and the butlers being born here and live with these traditions can talk very well about it.
So sorry to interrupt you, but I'm just trying to get my head around the concept. If I arrive and I'm staying there on my own, does everybody get one of these, or is this especially allocated, or how does it work? And do they talk to
Yeah,
me like when I
definitely.
get there, or sorry?
Your Raffles Wellbeing butler will be allocated to you depending on the purpose of stay, right?
Right.
So we have butlers with different profiles. Some like to do more families, some like to do more individuals. Some butlers are very romantic, so they love couples. And depending on what your interest is, on our pre-arrival, we determine that, and then we allocate the butler for you. Will accompany you as a one-touch button, right? So it's a person who can work very well as your personal assistant, so to speak, right? Bookings
Beautiful.
outside, connect you with the cultural destinations in Bali, be it temples, art, shopping, entertainment at night, or you stay the entire day on property and we craft naturally an agenda for you that encompasses food and beverage as well as spa experiences and cultural experiences that can come to your doorstep at the villa.
Wow,
Yeah,
sounds fabulous.
yeah. I would love to have a butler with me all day long, believe me.
Yeah, absolutely. And where are your guests coming from? I mean, Bali has exploded. You know, all of the hotels I've spoken to are so busy. There's guests, you know, just coming from all over the world. But where are the guests coming from at Raffles? Where, you know, who's staying there?
Well, I believe we can say I found myself yesterday counting at breakfast 21 different nationalities. You know, it's
Wow.
very, very, very interesting. What all our guests have in common is definitely the desire to find peace of mind, right? To find peace of mind. I think that's the draw for them when they come and stay with us. We are that destination where suddenly no plan is the best plan, right? And reconnect with your loved ones and be with family becomes the most important task in mind, right? Which
Mm.
is great. So I would say mostly European countries at the moment are with us. And with that is Spain, France, Germany, Switzerland, Poland, Denmark, Netherlands. The farthest away guest we have had maybe is Johannesburg at this moment, South Africa, right?
Wow.
American market is returning. Evidently, Australian couples love to come to us as well. They
Yes.
naturally, Bali is the ground that Australians love even more. And we also see a fair share of Singaporean market, right? Because we are a Singaporean-born brand, evidently all Singaporean customers of Raffles Singapore are curious to come and explore us, right? Yeah.
Yes. Yes. That's fascinating. 21 nationalities at breakfast. You've only got 32 rooms.
Yeah, you can say that, right? If you think about that, that we only have 32 villas, so each villa has a different nationality, so to speak, right? It's very
And that's quite
interesting.
difficult for staff because, I run a luxury hotel consulting business and, staff getting their heads around the needs, desires, and even way to communicate with 21 nationalities. That's quite challenging.
Yeah, I have to say that vast majority of our guests do communicate with us in English. For
Mhm,
those who don't, we craft your experience prior to your arrival.
mhm.
And we have been able to work pretty much with schools of hospitality who helped us in that essence to have a good amount of colleagues who speak languages which are not native to this part of the world, be it, I don't know, we had a guest speaking to us in Russian. We have sometimes guests who come to us from Spain, from as far as Mexico, right? So it's good to have colleagues on the troop who speak different languages, right? So at the moment we have in our ranks 7 different languages we can communicate besides Indonesian Bahasa in English. So it's good to have. It's a must have,
Yeah,
definitely.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And talk us through the room. That's the penthouse behind where you're
Oh,
sitting.
wow.
That's the most
Yeah.
exclusive room in the whole hotel. Can you talk us through that?
Yeah. So this villa is a cliff villa. I'm gonna turn a little bit the camera so you can take a
Sure.
look of the view.
Yep.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Looking
Wow.
over. Yeah.
That's
So it's
amazing.
a 300. It's a practically a 300-degree view. Behind me you have a valley. This
Yep.
valley is a perfect spot for reading and having in the afternoon. The sun
Beautiful.
will just set behind me every evening, so it's very enticing to just sit here with a beautiful glass of champagne and think about what's the best persona you want to become after you leave the property, right? And
That's a really good one.
besides
Think
that,
about the best persona you want to adopt when you leave the property. I've never heard a general manager say that. I love that,
yeah,
Katya. That's awesome.
yeah. I do believe that the best of holidays is where you can nurture yourself with the beautiful energy of the people who are around you.
Yes,
And because of that, you re-energize and you become a better version of yourself, right? And then till the next
exactly right.
destination comes along, right? So it's what
Yeah.
you can take out of Bali and out of us when you go back home.
And for me, the spirituality of Bali, almost regardless of where I stay, is a major contributor to that because there is something about the people, there's something about the energy, and there's something about the country of Indonesia that, leaves an indelible stamp, I think, on every visitor who visits your beautiful island, let alone your gorgeous hotel.
It's a very, very beautiful destination, I have to say. One of the most iconic ones I had the pleasure to work in, I have to say.
Yes. And you've worked all over the place.
Well, quite a fair bit. We hoteliers, we do that for a living, right? Discover different destinations, cultures, understand the different ways of living. And that's part of the package, which is endeavoring.
Yes, no, absolutely. And tell me, what do you see coming as future luxury hotel trends? I mean, you're at the forefront. What do you see ahead?
I think that connecting guests to the destination will remain more and more relevant. Connect with
Mm,
people who work in the resort as individuals, not only in the role you do, but also as a person, is
mm.
becoming more and more relevant.
Yes,
Guests want to know the human behind the job. It's not only about the offering of the service, right? It's
yes,
the reason why you do it and what draws you to do this job. And even more, if they see we do it with passion and happiness, they want to know the secret of that and how do we feel that way.
yes.
I think that another draw is for us hoteliers to be upfront in technology. I do believe we need to use more technology to ease our jobs, right? To
What
be
what
able
sort
to
of
also be
technology is
more.
coming through? What sort of technology are you seeing coming through?
I think that AI is a big topic. I do believe that AI for us, when it comes to cutting processes, which have nothing to do with service from the heart, that could be an opportunity, right? Everything what I call transactional, right? should be done by a process, by a computer, right? And everything that is service related, that is, it will touch your skin, that it will be tasted, a story to be told. That is a human interaction, right? This is where I
Yes.
believe we can be very much be helped, and by doing so, attract the new generations of potential hoteliers to keep coming to our industry, right? And find
Yes.
us more heartfelt, or become a heartfelt industry in hot
And
hotels, right?
more personable, which is what you're saying. And it's quite
Yeah.
hard for some cultures, even Indonesian culture, for hotel staff to give of themselves. But you're 100% right. People are traveling from the other side of the world. And I think COVID has given people, more empathy for other people. What happened to you? What's your life like? How have you ended up working here? How have you ended up living here? All of those questions, a lot of luxury hotel guests are now asking.
I think it's very true what you say. We find ourselves being more connected to guests. I can say that is,
Yes.
yes, one is the location where we are, but it's also that need of our guests who have been missing us for so long, as well as we miss them for so long, right?
Yes, 100%. And now there's so many of them. I mean, I'm talking about Bali as a whole. The luxury hotels are full. So we've gone from 0 to 100 or 110% in some cases.
Yeah,
Life,
lots of love coming towards us, and there is refrigerators and containers full of love from us that we have kept freeze for a long time, Yeah.
Well, yeah, exactly. And you're South American. Where do you like to travel when you go on holidays? And is it in luxury?
Oh, definitely, yes, yes. I found myself going to New York for our headquarter meeting, my last trip. So it was in America 2 weeks ago, and we put ourselves, all minds of Raffles, together at the plaza in New York, and definitely we all love luxury as GMs of Raffles. We want to entice ourselves or connect with the experiences that we would like to learn from and propose to our guests, right? And there is no
Yes,
other way to do it than to live it yourself. But
yes,
looking forward where to travel next, for me, the best place where to be is when I visit my family, right? So I hoggle in between Hamburg in Germany and Lisbon in Portugal. And then I hop back to South America, and then I visit my family in Colombia and in Ecuador. So yeah, the world is an oyster, right?
absolutely. Tell me, who owns Raffles? I thought it was Chinese owned. Obviously, I'm wrong.
Raffles Bali is owned by a partnership in between Kajima Corporation as a foreign investment company, and Jimbaran Hijau,
No, I'm
which
talking
is
about
a
Raffles, the
developer.
company. I'm talking about Raffles, because you said you went to New York. I'm intrigued to the head office.
Yeah, so we are part of Accor. Accor is our mother group,
Oh,
right?
that's right.
And
Yes, you
each
were acquired,
Raffles has,
weren't you?
yeah,
Yes.
its own owner, and each owner signs a hotel management agreement with Accor.
Yes.
So, and at the moment, in Accor, each brand has its own team who manages that particular brand. In our case, or Raffles brand team manages Raffles and Orient Express.
Yeah.
And we have 22 properties running, and fundamentally a lot of new projects coming along for both Raffles and Orient Express all over the world. That keeps us busy and going. Our headquarters coming along in New York. We want to be inserting ourselves in that part of the world where we have not been yet. As
Mhm.
we are very well known in Europe, we are very well known in Asia and in the Middle East. We think that the American market deserves an effort.
Yes.
And so far, we have been welcomed with open arms, right? And when in New York, please let me know. We're happy to welcome you.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you. Well, look, I mean, it's a very exciting brand. As I said in my opening, it's a luxury brand, and it's a brand that I've always loved. I mean, being growing up in Sydney, going to Singapore has been a part of, my life. And, the dream is always to stay at Raffles, and I've managed it quite a number of times, and, it's beautiful. But look, Katya, we do have to part company. I always love speaking to you. And where to from here for you? You can talk about today or your next trip, whatever you're up to.
My next trip, definitely, I will see many of well-traveled connoisseurs and travel advisors in Cannes at the end of the year. That
Yep.
is something that is already in the calendar. Singapore, a media trip in October. That is still in my calendar for this year. And for me, it's all about keeping our team here at Raffles Bali together. Imagining the future is budget time, right? So this is the time to craft who do we want to be and where do we want to go next year and for the next 5 years to come.
How
And
exciting.
looking forward to welcome you. Looking forward to welcome you and many other travelers from around the world. Our pleasure to
Thank
have
you.
you.
And I know that because I work with wonderful Indonesia and the Bali tourism, that Australia is still number one at least at the time of this recording, in terms of the visitors to Bali. So I definitely would love to come to Raffles and love to, review the hotel and talk to my readers about it. And I'd love to have lunch with you, Katya. I feel like I know you.
Not only lunch, pass by and stay with us for a few days, yeah?
Thank you. Thank you very much. I will, Katya. I will. You take
Yeah.
care. Have a beautiful day and enjoy your wonderful home there in Bali.
Thank you. Thank you, Renee.
Thank you
Stay
so
healthy.
much. We'll see you there soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye now. Don't forget to subscribe here and follow us on Instagram and Facebook for regular travel updates. You can also hear our episodes on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.